Hello and welcome everyone. This is Type V3 with a Gunpla review of the 1 to 144th scale high-grade R-GyaGya. Piloted by Kaoruko Sasaki, this is the song Dynasty V's leader as it's seen in Gundam Build Fighters Try. Like any typical high grade, this kit comes with 10 items. There's 8 runners, a set of polycaps, and a small sheet of foil stickers. Plastics are generally molded in the correct colors, though the gold frames are definitely more on the golden yellow side. The build itself is actually quite diverse. It was far more involved than I expected, yet I never found myself lingering on a specific area for too long. None of it was overcomplicated, sticker application was simple, and overall I found it to be a fun experience. The whole process shouldn't exceed more than an hour or two. The fully assembled R-GyaGya boasts a powerful appearance. I've always had an attraction to knight-based robots, and for me, this HG is certainly hitting all the right buttons. General molding and proportions are on the mark with no major deviations from the original line art. Color separation works well, and there's more of it here than in your average high grade. Although, you'll still need to paint in extra details like the vents and thrusters for full animation accuracy. Sticker application is minimal, only covering small black areas throughout the body, as well as the pink mono eye and the gray area on the head crest. Visible seam lines in the legs and shoulders serve as small disappointments, however the big issue by far is that gold plastic. Personally, I quite like the color. It just doesn't shimmer like a metallic finish should, and the swirls in the bare plastic look cheap too. So, with that acknowledged, this is one of the few times where I'd strongly recommend putting in the extra effort and painting these pieces gold. It definitely makes a huge difference in the overall presentation. As for final touches, there's not much to panel line, and smaller detailing isn't a hassle on the R-GyaGya. Again, the core design is solid on this high grade, but a full-on straight assembly will end in mediocre results. The R-GyaGya is quite sizable for a high grade kit. Its height measures 5.5 inches to the top of the forehead and about 6.5 at the peak of its crest. However, because of the bulkier stature, it feels a lot larger and just dwarfs similarly scaled Gundams. For articulation, the head is on a double ball joint, one at the base of the head and the base of the neck, so back and forth, looks side to side is fine, and really nothing's impeded. I was surprised at how well the range of motion is here. The torso has 2 ball joints, one right in the back of the upper torso, and then one in the front of the waist. So together you can lift the whole thing out and give yourself some pretty decent ab crunch and rotation. There's no real limitations here either. The arms are connected on a ball joint in a swing out polycap, so there's some good range of motion there. We'll do the shoulders here first, and you'll notice is that each of these shield parts are on an articulated arm, and you can just move these out of the way whichever way you like, and these bits here do fold up for added playability. The arm itself is on its own separate hinge. It gets a little bit caught by the edge of this shoulder. There's a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, which I was surprised to see, very nice. Ball jointed wrist, and right here, these Gatling gun cape things do have a hinge that lets them swing back, but not forward, so that's all you're going to get here. Hip skirts are fairly standard. Each of the sections can move up forwards, and you do have to cut them in the middle. The sides are connected on a little polycap, and there's not much play in them because they're not just molded as this one piece, they're molded as a rounded section, so they are a bit limited in certain directions, and the back plate is just static, no movement here. The hips are on universal joints, so they can go forwards, outwards, and there is a thigh swivel. You're looking at a double jointed knee here, but of course, everything is just huge, so this is the most range of motion you'll get out of it, just a little over 90 degrees. The ankles have a swing out arm that lets them go back and forth, and of course they're on a hinged polycap, so they can go side to side, but the sides do limit how much ankle pivot you're going to get, and there is no toe motion at all. The R-GyaGya suffers from the classic problem of just being too huge. All the necessary joints are there, it's more a matter of things colliding with one another and preventing use of the full range of motion. Although it's relatively balanced and structurally solid for such a top-heavy model kit. On to the accessories, and first things first, this mobile suit doesn't come with any extra hands. What you see is what you get. Thankfully, they can hold all of the R-GyaGya's weapons. First up, the beam saber. The hilt is stored right on the robot's left hip, and once removed, you can attach a giant green effect part. It's awesome. Though, seeing as how this is a beam saber, I do wonder if the scabbard actually has any real use. Next is the Twin Beam Sword. It's basically a double-sided lance with a guard. The green beam effect parts look great, and as an added bonus, you can split the bottom half of the handle to form two separate beam sabers, though the dual swords aren't all that interesting. Finally are the R-GyaGya shields. Besides being able to pose them with the articulated arm, there's also 4 effect parts for each to display them as the shield cutters. Furthermore, you can detach the shields entirely, and with the help of a special adapter, the MS can wield them on its arms like a classic knight. It's a simple addition that offers good display variety. Like I mentioned earlier in this review, I've always had an affinity towards knight-based robots, and considering that's exactly what the core of the R-GyaGya is, it's safe to assume I'm in love with this high-grade model kit. Yet, it isn't just the regal aspect or the bold presentation that gets me. Rather, it's the fact that this feels like a fully realized idea. Unlike most Build Fighter kits, it's not just a remix of the original Gundam, there's an actual theme to this design. Now, obviously, for as much as I'm praising the aesthetics, there's one big problem with it. You'll have to put in a good amount of effort to get the R-GyaGya looking respectable. To be fair, applying the extra paint isn't a hard process. Still, if you're a straight assembly type of builder, this could pose as a challenge. So in that sense, this might not be the best option for beginners. Nevertheless, if you can get past all that, then you're in for one fantastic model kit. After all, there's a great amount of playability and features here too. Moreover, the 1800 yen price point seems like a steal for the hulking size of the model kit. For sure, right out of the box, there are more impressive high grades to be had. However, the R-GyaGya is easily one of the most exciting Build Fighter kits because of the potential it provides. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching, and for as much as I love the R-GyaGya, I absolutely hate its builder. I'd be completely fine if she never shows up in Build Fighters Try again.